Elisha Nelson Manning is a former American football quarterback who played in the National Football League for 16 seasons with the New York Giants. A member of the Manning football dynasty, he is the youngest son of quarterback Archie Manning and younger brother of quarterback Peyton Manning. Manning played college football at Ole Miss, where he won the Maxwell and Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Awards as a senior. He was selected first overall in the 2004 NFL Draft by the San Diego Chargers and traded to the Giants during the draft. Although Manning struggled with consistency throughout much of his career, he is recognized for twice leading the Giants to underdog Super Bowl victories against the New England Patriots dynasty in Super Bowl XLII and Super Bowl XLVI. The former, which saw the wild-card Giants defeat a Patriots team that was the first to win all 16 regular season games, is regarded as one of the greatest sports upsets of all time. Manning was named Most Valuable Player in both championships, making him one of 5 players to have multiple Super Bowl MVP awards. As the Giants' starting quarterback from 2004 to 2019, Manning holds the franchise records for passing yards, touchdown passes, and completions. Never missing a game due to injury, he started 210 consecutive games from 2004 to 2017, the third longest consecutive starts streak by an NFL quarterback. Manning ranks 8th all-time in passing yards and 9th in touchdowns. Early life. Manning was born in New Orleans, the youngest of 3 boys to Olivia and NFL quarterback Elisha Archibald Archie Manning III, both natives of Mississippi. His older brothers, Cooper and Peyton, both played football growing up. Manning attended high school at the Isidore Newman School in New Orleans, where he played football and basketball for the Greenies. In his high school career, Manning passed for 7,389 yards and 89 touchdowns. On February 7, 1999, he committed to play college football at the University of Mississippi. College career. Manning entered college in the shadow of his brother Peyton, quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, and his father, who was considered a folk hero at Ole Miss. During his years with the Rebels, Manning set or tied 45 single-game, season and career records. His career numbers include 10,119 passing yards, 81 touchdown passes, and a passer rating of 137.7. 2000 season. As a redshirt freshman, Manning competed with veteran Romaro Miller for the starting quarterback position and saw little playing time. He appeared in 6 games and passed for 170 total yards and 1 interception. 2001 season. With the departure of Miller, Manning became the Rebels' starting quarterback as a sophomore. In the first game, against Murray State, he converted 20 of 23 pass attempts for 271 yards and 5 passing touchdowns in the 49-14 victory. In the following game, a 27-21 loss to Auburn, he had 265 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown and 1 interception. Over the next few games, Manning helped lead the Rebels to victories over Kentucky, Alabama, and LSU. On November 3, in a 58-56 loss to Arkansas, Manning passed for 312 passing yards and 6 passing touchdowns. Overall, Manning had a solid first year as the Rebels' starting quarterback with 2,948 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, as the Rebels finished with a 7-4 record. 2002 season. Manning's junior season started out promising with a 31-3 victory over Louisiana Monroe and a 38-16 victory over Memphis. Manning had 4 passing touchdowns and 1 interception combined in those 2 games. In the next game, a 42-28 loss to Texas Tech, Manning passed for 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Rebels won their next 3 games, which were over Vanderbilt, number 6 Florida, and Arkansas State to earn Ole Miss a number 21 ranking in the AP poll. Manning had 5 touchdowns and 1 interception in that stretch. The Rebels' fortunes turned in the latter half of the season with a 5-game losing streak. In the stretch was a 48-28 loss to Arkansas, in which Manning completed 42 of 56 passes for 414 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. In addition, he had a rushing touchdown. After a 24-12 win over rival Mississippi State, the Rebels qualified for the Independence Bowl with a 6-6 record to face off against Nebraska. Manning passed for 313 yards and 1 touchdown in the 27-23 victory. Overall, Manning finished with 3,401 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions in his junior season. 2003 season. Manning started off his senior season with a 2-2 record. He played well in that stretch with 1,329 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, with victories over Vanderbilt and Louisiana Monroe, but had losses to Memphis and Texas Tech. The Rebels went on a 6-game winning streak that included victories over major SEC opponents number 24 Florida, Alabama, number 21 Arkansas, South Carolina, and Auburn. Manning passed for 1,552 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in the winning streak. Overall, he led the Rebels to a 10-3 record, and a 31-28 SBC Cotton Bowl Classic victory over number 21 Oklahoma State, with 259 passing yards and 2 touchdowns in 2003. As his senior year came to a close, Manning won many awards, including the Maxwell Award as the nation's best all-around player, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, the National Football Foundation and College Football Hall of Fame Scholar Athlete Award, the Sporting News Radio Socrates Award, and the SEC Most Valuable Player Award. He was also a candidate for the 2003 Heisman Trophy, finishing third in the voting after winning quarterback Jason White and wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald. Manning was a member of the Sigma Nu fraternity, and he was named Sigma Nu Athlete of the Year in 2001 and 2003. Manning graduated from the University of Mississippi with a degree in marketing and a GPA of 3.44 and was on the Dean's Honor Roll. Awards. 2001, Connerly Trophy Best College Football Player in Mississippi. 2001, Davy O'Brien Award awarded to the nation's top quarterback. 2001, Honorable Mention All-American The Football News. 2002, Independence Bowl MVP. 2003, Second Team All-American The Associated Press. 2003, Maxwell Award Nation's Top Player. 2003, Connerly Trophy Best College Football Player in Mississippi. 2003, SEC MVP Birmingham Monday Morning Quarterback Club. 2003, Sports Person of the Year in Mississippi The Clarion Ledger. 2003, Mississippi Amateur Athlete of the Year Jackson Touchdown Club. 2003, National Scholar Athlete Class Division IAQB. 2003, Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award awarded to the nation's top quarterback. 2003, SEC Offensive Player of the Year The Associated Press and the SEC Coaches. 2004, Sporting News Radio Socrates Award. 2004, SBC Cotton Bowl Classic MVP. Colonel Earl Blake Leadership Award All-American Football Foundation. USA Today Player of the Year in Louisiana. First Team All-American The All-American Foundation. SEC Player of the Year The Commercial Appeal and the SEC Coaches. First Team All-SEC Associated Press. SEC Top Offensive QB Touchdown Club of Atlanta Wally Butts Award. Statistics. Professional career. The San Diego Chargers had the first overall pick in the 2004 NFL Draft due to their 4-12 record in 2003. With Manning being the most coveted player in the draft, it appeared that the Chargers' intentions were to draft him first overall. Meanwhile, Manning and his father Archie Manning stated that he would refuse to play for the Chargers if drafted by them. Archie asked the father of former Chargers quarterback Ryan Leaf before the draft about his son's experience with the team. In hearing that the Chargers did not help Leaf with his personal problems, it then became part of why Eli refused to play for the team. The Chargers selected Manning with the first pick overall nonetheless, as the team had a deal with the New York Giants, whereby the Giants would draft and then trade Phillip Rivers and a 2004 third-round pick, used to select place kicker Nate Kading, a 2005 first-round pick, used to select linebacker Sean Merriman, and a 2005 fifth-round pick to the Chargers. For Manning, he signed a 6-year, $45 million contract with the Giants. Manning was one of 17 quarterbacks taken in the 2004 NFL Draft, along with Rivers and the Pittsburgh Steelers' Ben Roethlisberger. All three would enjoy lengthy and successful careers with the teams that signed them and have been compared favorably to the 1983 NFL Draft, which included Hall of Fame quarterbacks John Elway, Jim Kelly, and Dan Marino. Manning posted the lowest passing yards, touchdowns, pass completions, completion percentage, TD-int ratio, passer rating, wins, winning percentage, and Pro Bowl honors of the three, but cemented his legacy with his 2 upset Super Bowl victories against the New England Patriots dynasty. While both Manning and Roethlisberger were part of 2 Super Bowl winning teams, Manning is the only quarterback of the three to earn Super Bowl MVP honors, which he received in both victories. 2004 season, rookie year. Manning made his NFL regular season debut in Week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles. He came into the game toward the end the fourth quarter in relief of Kurt Warner. He finished the 31-17 loss 3 of 9 for 66 yards. Manning made his first career regular season start against the Atlanta Falcons at Giants Stadium on November 21, 2004. In the game, Manning threw his first career touchdown on a 6-yard pass to Jeremy Shockey in the third quarter. In his fourth start, against the Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium on December 12, 2004, he ended the day with a 0.0 passer rating and was benched in the second half in favor of Warner, but remained the Giants' starter through the end of the season. In Week 15, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he recorded his first multi-touchdown performance with 182 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception in the 33-30 loss in a duel with fellow rookie quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. In the regular season finale, Manning passed for 144 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception in the 28-24 victory over the Dallas Cowboys, getting his first win as a starter. The Giants finished with a 6-10 record and were 1-6 in games that Manning started in. He finished with 1,043 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. 2005 season, NFC East champions. Following 2004, Warner left the Giants, and Manning was named the starter for 2005. Manning led the Giants to a 2-0 record with victories against the Arizona Cardinals and New Orleans Saints, before traveling to the West Coast for a test in a road game against the San Diego Chargers. Chargers fans did not forget the snub, and on September 25, 2005, when Manning and the Giants made their first trip to San Diego for a game since that draft day, the crowd booed Manning loudly every time he touched the ball. San Diego defeated the Giants 45-23, but Manning displayed what may have been his most impressive performance of his young career, going 24 of 41 for 352 yards and 2 touchdowns. Manning returned home to throw for almost 300 yards and a career-high 4 touchdowns against the St. Louis Rams at Giants Stadium in a 44-24 romp. 2 games later, he led a last-minute drive against the Denver Broncos to secure a 24-23 victory for the Giants. The drive culminated in a 2-yard touchdown to a Mini Toomer with 5 seconds remaining. 2 weeks later, Manning overcame a weak first half against the San Francisco 49ers to help his team secure their first official road victory of the season, 24-6. Despite a poor performance at home against the Minnesota Vikings, throwing 4 interceptions, he again led his team back to tie the game in the final minutes before the Vikings won on a late field goal. Manning finished among the top 5 quarterbacks in both passing yards and touchdown passes, while leading an offense that finished 3rd in the NFL in scoring with a total of 422 points. It was the most points the Giants scored in a single season since 1963. The Giants won the NFC East with an 11-5 record and advanced to the postseason as the number 4 seed. In the wild card round against the Carolina Panthers, Manning was 10 of 18 for 113 yards and 3 interceptions in the 23-0 loss. 2006 season. Manning's second full season was reminiscent of his 2005 season. He started off playing well and completed over 65% of his passes through the first 4 games. However, he struggled in the second half of the season and his production diminished towards the end of the regular season. After losing a tough game to his brother Peyton and the Indianapolis Colts on opening day, Manning and the Giants rebounded from a 24-7 fourth-quarter deficit en route to a 30-24 overtime victory over the division rival Philadelphia Eagles in Week 2. Manning threw for a career-high 371 yards in the win with 3 touchdowns including a game-winning pass to Plaxico Burress in overtime to earn NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Following a poor performance against the Seattle Seahawks the next week, Manning and the Giants responded by winning 5 straight games including wins over the Washington Redskins, Dallas Cowboys, and Atlanta Falcons, to push their record to 6-2. Following this winning streak, key injuries including one to wide receiver Mini Toomer pushed Manning and the Giants into a downward slide. Playing against the Chicago Bears, Manning started well, but the Giants' offense was derailed by the loss of left tackle Luke Pettigrew to a broken leg. Manning was held to only 141 yards passing with 2 interceptions. Pettigrew's loss left a gaping hole at the crucial left tackle position, and Manning was unable to repeat his first-half success. Manning struggled the next week against the Jacksonville Jaguars and the week after that. A costly interception helped to culminate a huge collapse on the road against the Tennessee Titans, with the Giants seeing a 21-point fourth-quarter lead simply evaporate. Manning improved the following week, throwing for 270 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys, but the Giants lost 23-20. Finally regaining momentum, Manning threw 3 touchdowns in a win on the road against the Carolina Panthers, but then he stumbled badly in the final 3 games. He threw 2 interceptions against the Philadelphia Eagles and tallied only 73 passing yards in a game against the New Orleans Saints. Although the Giants battled back to 8-8 the following week on the road against the Washington Redskins, Manning completed only 12 of 26 passes for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. The Giants qualified for the postseason as the number 6 seed and met the Philadelphia Eagles. Although he did significantly better in this game than the 2005 playoff game against the Carolina Panthers, completing 16 of 27 passes for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns, the Giants lost in the wild card round on a last-second field goal by the Eagles. For the year, Manning threw for 3,244 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 18 interceptions. He completed 57.7% of his passes, a 5-point improvement from 2005, but he again struggled badly in the second half of the season. Manning finished the season with a quarterback efficiency rating of 77.0 with 6.2 yards per attempt. 2007 season, Super Bowl champions. Manning trained in the Meadowlands with offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride and new quarterbacks coach Chris Palmer prior to the 2007 regular season. For the first time ever, Plaxico Burress and Jeremy Shockey practiced in the off-season with Manning to perfect their timing and chemistry rather than training alone in Miami as they did in previous years. 2007 regular season. 2007 playoffs. Super Bowl XLII. 2008 season, NFC East champions. Manning and the Giants opened the 2008 season with a win over their division rivals, the Washington Redskins, 16-7. Manning completed 19 passes of 35 for 216 yards, and had one rushing touchdown and one interception. Post-match, he said, "It was a great opening to the season. There was a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement. You could feel it in the crowd." In the Giants' next game, against the St. Louis Rams, they won again, 41-13, behind a stellar Manning performance. Manning finished the game with 20 completions, 260 yards passing and threw 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. The victory also marked the team's 4th straight victory over the Rams. The following week, Manning rallied the Giants to more fourth-quarter magic, overcoming a late deficit to throw the go-ahead touchdown pass to tight end Kevin Boss, and then in overtime, throwing a clutch 31-yard pass to a Minnie Toomer in the Giants' 26-23 win over Cincinnati Bengals. The 4th week of the season saw the Giants score on each of their first 6 possessions and dominate the Seattle Seahawks, 44-6. Manning threw for 2 touchdowns, completing 19 of 25 passes for 267 yards as the Giants totaled 523 yards on offense, their most since 2002. Following a poor team performance in a 35-14 loss on the road against the Cleveland Browns, Manning and the Giants responded with a 29-17 win over the 4-9 ERS and battled to a hard-earned 21-14 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers at Pittsburgh's Heinz Field. Manning completed 19 of 32 passes for 199 yards and 1 touchdown in the crucial win, which pushed the Giants to a 6-1 record. The following week, the Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys at home 35-14 to get to 7-1 at the midway point of the regular season. Manning threw 3 touchdowns in the game. New York improved to 8-1 with a 36-31 win on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. Manning threw 2 touchdowns in the victory, but the crucial play occurred in the third quarter. With the Giants trailing by 4, Manning appeared to make an illegal forward pass to tight end Boss. After review, it was determined that the pass was legal. The Giants scored a touchdown 2 plays later. Week 9 pitted the Giants in a battle with the visiting Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens had come into the game with the league's 3rd-ranked defense. Nevertheless, Manning led the Giants to a decisive 30-10 victory, improving to 9-1, which included a 200-yard rushing effort by running backs Brandon Jacobs, Derek Ward, and Ahmed Bradshaw. 2 weeks later, the Giants faced the Redskins at Washington in their second encounter in the season. Manning threw his first 300-yard game of the season, going 21 of 34 with an interception and a 40-yard touchdown pass to Toomer. The Giants beat the Redskins 23-7. In November, Manning was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month. For the month, Manning threw for 1,036 yards and 10 touchdowns, and compiled a 94.9 passer rating while leading the Giants to a perfect 5-0 record. Manning was named to his first Pro Bowl on December 16, making him the first Giants quarterback to earn the honor since Phil Simms in 1993. In Week 15, Manning and the Giants visited Texas Stadium, where Tony Romo battled through a lower back contusion and connected with 9 different receivers, finishing 20 of 30 for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading the Dallas Cowboys to a 28 victory. In Week 16 against the Carolina Panthers with NFC home field advantage on the line, Manning had a passing day of 17 of 27 for 181 yards and no interceptions. Manning led the Giants back from deficits of 21-10 and 28-20 to tie the game with just over 3 minutes left, including a bullet pass to Dominic Hickson for a key 2-point conversion to tie the game at 28. The game was played in freezing conditions. After becoming the number 1 seed in the NFC with a 12-4 record, the Giants had a first playoff round bye week and home field advantage through the rest of the playoffs. In the divisional round, they faced their arch-rival Philadelphia Eagles at Giants Stadium with its signature windy conditions. Philadelphia went on to win the game 23-11. Manning completed 15 out of 29 passes for 169 yards with no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. 2009 season. On August 5, 2009, he signed a 6-year $97.5 million contract extension. Manning and the Giants started the 2009 season with a 3-0 record. In Week 4, the Giants played the Kansas City Chiefs. Manning was playing well up until the start of the fourth quarter when on a play-action fake, he injured his heel while passing downfield to Steve Smith. He stayed in for the next play, completing a 54-yard touchdown to Hakeem Nicks. It was discovered that Manning had plantar fasciitis and there was speculation he would not play against the Oakland Raiders in Week 5. However, in Week 5, Manning played well, completing 8 of 10 passes for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns with the Giants winning 44-7. This was the first time in his career that Manning had posted a perfect passer rating. After this 5-game winning streak, the Giants fell to a 4-game losing streak, losing to the New Orleans Saints, the Arizona Cardinals, the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Diego Chargers, before winning again after a bye week on Week 11 when they played the Atlanta Falcons, winning 34-31 in overtime. Against the Falcons, Manning posted a career-high 384 passing yards with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. On Thanksgiving, the Giants traveled to Denver to play the Denver Broncos where they lost 26-6. Manning completed 24 of 40 passes for 230 yards, with no touchdowns and an interception. In Week 14, they played their divisional rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, and lost 45-38. Where it was a close game from the start. Manning passed for a career-high 391 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions but was not able to win the game. Next week, on Monday Night Football, Manning and the Giants dominated the Redskins, winning the game 45-12. The next week, in the final game in Giants Stadium, Manning and the Giants lost 41-9 against the Carolina Panthers. The Giants did not fare better the next week on the road against the Minnesota Vikings in the final regular season game, losing 44-7 while down 38 points in the fourth quarter. After the games, Manning apologized to the fans for the team's performance. The Giants finished the 2009 season with an 8-8 record and missed the playoffs. Manning ended the 2009 season with career highs including 4,021 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, a 62.3 completion percentage rating, and a passer rating of 93.1. 2010 season. On August 16 during a preseason game against the New York Jets, Manning was hit by Brandon Jacobs, then by Calvin Pace, which knocked off his helmet, then went face first into Jim Leonhardt's face mask. As a result, Manning had a large gash that needed 12 stitches, and he left the game. Manning and the Giants started the 2010 season with a 1-2 start followed by a 5-game winning streak. In Week 15, he had 289 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception in the 38-31 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. In Week 16, Manning connected on with Mario Manningham on a then-career-high 85-yard receiving touchdown in a 45-17 loss to the Green Bay Packers. The mark was broken the next week when Manning completed a 92-yard passing touchdown to Manningham in the 17-14 victory over the Washington Redskins. The Giants ended the 2010 NFL season with a 10-6 record. Manning led the Giants to a 17-14 win in the last game of the season against the Washington Redskins. However, because of the Packers' 10-3 win over the Chicago Bears, the Giants did not make the playoffs. He ended the season with 4,002 yards, a career-high 31 touchdowns, but also a career-high 25 interceptions, which marked the most by a quarterback in the 2010 season, and a 62.5 completion percentage. 2011 season, second Super Bowl championship. In August 2011, Manning generated mild controversy in the sports media during a radio interview on The Michael Kay Show. When asked by host Michael Kay whether he was an elite top 10, top 5 quarterback in the same class as Tom Brady, he responded, "I consider myself in that class. Tom Brady is a great quarterback. I think now he's grown up and gotten better every year, and that's what I'm trying to do. I kind of hope these next 7 years of my quarterback days are my best." Manning received criticism for the quote for trying to inflate his own status and skills, with critics pointing out his past inconsistent stats, including his 25 interceptions in the previous season, as evidence contradicting his claims. However, Manning also received support for his comments from Giants coach Tom Coughlin, and teammates such as wide receiver Hakeem Nicks. Later in the season, Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator Rob Ryan commented on the quote, agreeing with Manning that he was an elite quarterback for sure. 2011 regular season. 2011 playoffs. Super Bowl XLVI. 2012 season. The Giants endured a disappointing season following their Super Bowl run in 2011. Manning led the Giants to a 6-2 record to begin their season, including a career-best 510 passing yards to go along with 3 passing touchdowns and 3 interceptions in a Week 2 41-34 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He finished second only to Phil Sims's game with 513 passing yards in 1985 for the franchise record. However, Manning averaged an anemic 204 yards per game and 74.3 passer rating from Week 8 to Week 16, including his lowest rating in 5 years in a 34-0 loss to the Atlanta Falcons in Week 15. He ended the 2012 season on a high note, throwing a career-high 5 touchdown passes while completing 13 of 21 pass attempts and passing for 208 yards with no interceptions, in a 42-7 Giants win over the Philadelphia Eagles. He finished the season with 26 touchdown passes, 15 interceptions and 3,948 passing yards. As was typical for this phase of his career, Manning was exceptionally well protected by his offensive line. He was sacked just 19 times for a league lowest 3.4% of passing plays. Although the Giants did not qualify for the playoffs with a 9-7 season, Manning was selected to his third Pro Bowl as a second alternate. He was ranked 43rd by his fellow players on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2013. 2013 season. Manning started the 2013 season off with 450 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in a 36-31 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Manning set a franchise record for most passing yards in a season opener, breaking Phil Sims's mark of 409 passing yards in the 1984 regular season opener. The loss was a sign of things to come as the Giants started the season with a 0-6 record, their worst regular season start since 1976. He threw 12 interceptions in his first 5 games. Manning fell to 0-3 against his older brother, Peyton in Week 2's 41-23 loss to the Denver Broncos. He was 28 of 39 for 362 yards, but was intercepted 4 times. Manning's 4 interceptions tied his career high and was the 4th time he threw 4 interceptions in a game. The game between Peyton and Eli was the final professional meeting of the two brothers. In Week 15, Manning threw for 156 yards and a career-high 5 interceptions in a 23-0 loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Manning ended the season with a career-high 27 interceptions, which were the most in one season by a quarterback since Brett Favre had 29 in 2005. The Giants finished the season 7-9, their first losing record since Manning's rookie year in 2004. Manning passed Phil Simms to become the franchise's all-time leader in yards passing. Simms, who played 14 seasons with the Giants, finished his career with 33,462 yards in the air. 2014 season. After an 0-2 start, the Giants won 3 straight games but subsequently lost their next 7 games, including a 16-10 loss to the San Francisco 49 ers in a game where Manning threw 5 interceptions, which tied his career high. The Giants won 3 of their last 4 games to end the season with a 6-10 record. Among Manning's highlights from the losing season was a Week 17 game where he had 429 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception in a 34-26 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Manning finished the season with 30 touchdown passes, 14 interceptions and 4,410 passing yards. 2015 season. A few days before the Giants' regular season opener against the Dallas Cowboys, Manning signed a 4-year, $84 million extension with the Giants. In Week 5, he had a franchise record 41 completions for 441 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, in a 30-27 victory over the San Francisco 49 ers to earn NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Through 6 games, he led the Giants to a 3-3 record and a tie for first place in the NFC East. In Week 8, Manning threw a career-high 6 touchdowns and 350 yards, but the Giants lost to the New Orleans Saints, 52-49. He became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 6 touchdowns and no interceptions in a game and lose. In Week 10, in a narrow 27-26 loss to the undefeated New England Patriots, Manning passed for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns, one of which was an 87-yard strike to Odell Beckham Jr. in the first quarter. In Week 14, in a 31-24 victory over the Miami Dolphins, he was 27 of 31 for 337 passing yards and 4 touchdowns to earn NFC Offensive Player of the Week. After starting the season 5-5, Giants fell to 1-5 the rest of the way to finish 6-10 for the second straight season. Manning's longtime coach in Tom Coughlin stepped down at the end of the season. Manning finished the 2015 season with career highs in touchdown passes, completions, attempts and passer rating. His 35 touchdowns were one shy of tying a title for most in a single season in franchise history and ranked tied for second among quarterbacks that year. Manning also threw 4,432 yards in 2015, second most in his career. On January 22, 2016, Manning was selected to his 4th career Pro Bowl, replacing Ben Roethlisberger. Manning's 4th Pro Bowl berth ties Fran Tarkenton for most Pro Bowl selections by a New York Giants quarterback in franchise history. He was ranked 47th by his fellow players on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2016. 2016 season, return to the playoffs. Manning had a new head coach in Ben Mikado for the 2016 season. Manning and the Giants started the 2016 season with a 2-3 record over the first 5 games. In the next game, a 27-23 victory over the Baltimore Ravens, Manning threw for 3 touchdowns, reaching a career total of 302 touchdown passes and passing John Elway for 7th all-time. Coming off a bye week and on a 2-game winning streak, beating the Ravens and the Los Angeles Rams, Manning threw a season-high 4 touchdowns as the Giants would halt a last-second game-winning drive by the Philadelphia Eagles to win 28-23. In a Week 16 loss against the Eagles on December 22, Manning set a franchise record with 63 pass attempts in a single game, while throwing 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, surpassing Peyton Manning's record of 21 games with at least 3 interceptions with 22. Despite the loss, though, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost to the New Orleans Saints later that week 31-24, giving the Giants their first playoff berth since the 2011 season, when the team last won the Super Bowl. By defeating the rival Washington Redskins in the final week of the NFL season on New Year's Day and, therefore, knocking the Redskins out of playoff contention and bringing their season record to 11-5. Manning and the Giants faced the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs, as Manning completed 23 of 44 of his passes for 299 yards, while throwing for a touchdown. Manning was back to his playoff self in the game, but was let down by numerous drops by Odell Beckham Jr. and other star playmakers. The Packers would eventually rout the Giants 38-13, ending the Giants' season. Manning finished the season recording 4,027 passing, 26 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, with an 86.0 passer rating. On February 4, 2017, Manning and Cardinals wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald both won the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award, making it the first time since the 2006 season that 2 players were CO winners of this award. 2017 season. Manning and the Giants started the 2017 season with 5 consecutive losses. The Giants broke their losing streak with a 23-10 victory over the Denver Broncos in Week 6. The success was short-lived as the Giants lost the next game to the Seattle Seahawks by a score of 24-7 to set off a 3-game losing streak. During Week 9 against the Los Angeles Rams, he became the 7th quarterback to reach 50,000 passing yards. On November 28, after a 2-9 start to the season, it was announced that Manning would be benched and replaced by Geno Smith in Week 13 against the Oakland Raiders, ending Manning's streak of 210 consecutive regular season games started. The streak was second all-time for quarterbacks behind Brett Favre's 297. Head coach Ben Mikado gave Manning the option of starting to keep the streak going, but Manning declined, stating that "My feeling is that if you are going to play the other guys, play them. Starting just to keep the streak going and knowing you won't finish the game and have a chance to win, it is pointless to me, and it tarnishes the streak." The move was met with backlash from former Giants players and coaches. On December 5, 2 days after the Week 13 game, Manning was renamed the starter by interim head coach Steve Spagnuolo, after Mikado was fired as head coach. During Week 15 against the Philadelphia Eagles, Manning finished with 434 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. The Giants lost 34-29, allowing the Eagles to clinch a first-round bye. On December 24, against the Arizona Cardinals, Manning passed John Elway to take sole possession of 6th place on the NFL's all-time passing yard list. Manning started the regular season finale against the Washington Redskins. In the 18-10 victory, he had 132 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, as the Giants ended their disappointing season with a 3-13 record. 2018 season. Following speculation that Manning would be released, new Giants head coach Pat Shurmur put these rumors aside by saying, "I think what's important is we have a guy here who has helped this organization win Super Bowls. He's an outstanding player and I'm really looking forward to working with him." After losses to the Jacksonville Jaguars and Dallas Cowboys to start the season, Manning and the Giants defeated the Houston Texans by a score of 27-22. Manning was efficient, going 25 of 29 for 297 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. The Giants lost the next 5 consecutive games, with Manning leading the leagues in sacks for most of that stretch despite an improved running game from rookie Saquon Barkley. Manning had 399 passing yards against the Atlanta Falcons, the fourth of these losses, but was sacked 7 times and threw 2 interceptions in the following game. Manning rebounded with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions in the following week's victory over the San Francisco 49 ers, and a remarkable 17 completions on 18 attempts for 2 touchdowns in a win the following week over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Giants went 4-4 over the last 8 games of the season to finish 5-11 and last in the NFC East. Manning passed for 4,299 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions in the 2018 season. 2019 season, final year. The 2019 season was Manning's last remaining year on his contract. While the Giants had the option to release Manning in the off-season and save $17 million in both cash and cap space, the team opted to keep him on their roster. However, neither side held any discussions for a contract extension, causing doubt for Manning's future as the Giants' franchise quarterback beyond the upcoming season. The team selected quarterback Daniel Jones in the first round of that year's draft, which many saw as the Giants selecting Manning's successor while further cementing his own lame duck status in the position. Manning was informed of the Giants' decision during their draft selection. Despite the pick, General Manager Dave Gettleman said the goal is for Eli to be our quarterback, while head coach Shermer told Manning it's your job to win games and keep off the field. Being on the Giants roster meant that it would be Manning's 16th season with the team, marking a franchise record for the longest tenure for any player in its 94-year history. Manning started the Giants' first 2 games of the season, losses to the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. On September 17, 2019, the Giants announced that Manning would not start the team's Week 3 game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, instead opting for Jones. This was thought to be the end of Manning's time as the Giants' starting quarterback. Due to an injury suffered by Jones during Week 13 against the Green Bay Packers, Manning returned to the starting lineup the next week on December 9 against the Philadelphia Eagles. During the game, Manning threw for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns to rookie wide receiver Darius Slayton, but the game ended in a 23-17 overtime loss for the Giants. As the game was televised on Monday Night Football, it marked Manning's final primetime appearance. In the following week's game against the Miami Dolphins at home, Manning started again and threw for 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, leading the team to a 36-20 win. As the game ended, Manning was taken off the field and received a standing ovation from fans who believed this was his final home game as the starting quarterback. Jones returned to action in Week 16 and Manning's season was over. Manning finished the year with 1,042 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions in 4 games, as the Giants finished the season 4-12. With his contract expiring at the end of the season, Manning was set to become a free agent for the first time in his career. When discussing his future plans, Manning stated that he did not wish to be a backup quarterback or pursue coaching opportunities with the team, as he felt he served both roles throughout the year and did not enjoy either one of them. Regardless, he said he would weigh his options for the upcoming season, stating, "I think I can still play." During a radio interview weeks later, Team CO owner John Mara said that the Giants would welcome back Manning the next year as a backup quarterback or in a front office role, but that newly hired head coach Joe Judge would need to give his approval to include Manning on the roster. Retirement and honors. On January 22, 2020, Manning announced his retirement, with an official press conference scheduled for January 24. John Mara stated during the press conference that Manning would be inducted into the Giants' Ring of Honor in 2020 and that Manning's number 10 jersey would be retired. Manning rejoined the Giants in 2021 in a business operations and fan engagement role, according to the team. His jersey retirement and induction into the Giants' Ring of Honor took place on September 26, 2021, at halftime of the Giants-Atlanta Falcons game at MetLife Stadium. He will be eligible for Hall of Fame induction in 2025. Post-playing career. Manning joined ESPN as an NFL analyst for the 2021 season, calling 9 games during the season. In addition, he currently hosts Eli's Places for ESPN+, where he traveled to some of the most well-known and historic college football establishments and meet with giants in the sport to better understand what makes college football such a national sensation. He also received a nickname Human Carbon Monoxide or HCM from The Rock due to him not having a nickname unlike his brother Peyton the Sheriff Manning and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. In September 2022, Manning tried out for quarterback during Penn State walk-on tryouts. Manning ran the 40-yard dash in 5.49 seconds and had a broad jump distance 7 feet 10 inches. Manning was disqualified due unsatisfactory on-field performance and being ineligible to play. NFL career statistics. Regular season. Postseason. Awards and accolades. 2 times Super Bowl champion. 2 times NFC champion. 2 times Super Bowl MVP. 4 times Pro Bowl. NFC passing touchdown CO leader. Most consecutive completions to begin a Super Bowl, 9. Third all-time for most consecutive starts by a National Football League quarterback, 210. Records. NFL. New York Giants franchise records. Other ventures. Eli co-starred with his brother Peyton in ads for NFLShop.com and Aria. Eli is a spokesman for Citizen Watchco, Toyota of New Jersey, and Reebok. He reportedly received several more endorsement offers after reaching Super Bowl XLII. On May 5, 2012, Eli hosted NBC's Saturday Night Live, with musical guest Rihanna. His brother Peyton hosted the show 5 years earlier. In 2022, he went undercover as Chad Powers and participated in Penn State University football tryouts as a walk-on, which was filmed as part of an ESPN project.